You're back again. Yes, you. The one who's been building empires in silence while everyone else was posting their vision boards that'll be forgotten by March. Welcome to the reality they're pretending doesn't exist, the truth that's already making their hands shake when they type your name into the search bar at midnight, trying to figure out what you're plotting. Let me share something about 2026, something the cosmos revealed while they were busy blaming 2025 for their own choices. This year, this absolutely devastating year, it doesn't belong to them, it belongs to you. And deep down, they sense it. Listen, they convince themselves 2025 destroyed them, right? They posted about their surface-level struggles, their convenient failures, their rehearsed pain that never cut deeper than their carefully curated image. They turn their struggles into content like suffering was a brand deal, like anyone who's walked through actual fire would ever commodify their darkness for likes. But 2026, this year, is going to make 2025 look like a preview, a gentle rehearsal for what unfolds when the person they dismissed stops defending and starts dominating. Because you've been in silence building, transforming, evolving into something their limited perspective can't categorize. And now, you're unstoppable. They're already rattled. You notice it, don't you? How their texts got colder. How their stares last just a moment too long when you enter their space. How they monitor your every move without ever making contact. They detect something changing in the energy you carry. Some wavelength shift they can't articulate, but absolutely recognize in their core. It's not their imagination. It's survival instinct. It's their ancient brain warning them that the hunter-hunted dynamic just flipped and they missed the exact moment it happened. What they haven't realized yet, what they won't grasp until the damage is permanent, is that you're not scheming revenge. You're simply becoming unavoidable. Let me describe what's approaching, what's already carved into destiny that they're too distracted to notice. January 2026 arrives, and you're not sharing manifestations or dream boards or forced declarations, trying to convince yourself this time will be different. No, you're executing in complete silence, rewired, recoded, functioning on a wavelength that crashes their tracking systems, trying to monitor you while they're broadcasting their intentions to strangers. You're constructing a legacy in the darkness, making plays they won't comprehend until the fortress is complete. And you're positioned at the peak, observing their bewilderment. They'll question everyone. What shifted? How did they accomplish that? When did they become so? And they'll stop speaking because language fails to capture what you transformed into. February hits, and they start sensing it. That sinking awareness that something core has shifted. They'll see your minimal presence, your mysterious statements, your detached composure, and feel their chest tighten because you're not explaining anymore. You're not justifying your decisions, not defending your limits, not apologizing for the territory you're occupying. You've crossed into that powerful zone where their perspective became completely irrelevant. Not from bitterness, but from authentic apathy. That's infinitely more threatening. They'll attempt contact with casual outreach, testing if they still possess access to your world. And when you reply with courteous distance or ignore them entirely, they'll spiral because connection to you was their insurance policy, and you just canceled it. March appears, and their first tears begin falling privately. Quiet breakdowns they'll hide from everyone. They'll notice your name connected to achievements they expected for themselves, environments they considered their domain, networks they assumed you'd never crack. How did you get in there? They'll whisper among themselves, exchanging theories like detectives trying to solve a mystery that shatters their worldview. They assumed they understood you, categorized you in their mental files, labeled handled beneath consideration, zero threat. But you were never competing in their arena to begin with. You were playing an entirely different game, and they were too self-absorbed to recognize it. By April, the tears intensify because now it transcends your accomplishments. It's about your transformation. They'll observe you navigate existence with confidence that needs no external validation, peace that requires no outside approval, strength that demands no one's permission. Every instance they witness you fully embodied, unaffected by their thoughts, immune to their criticism, undisturbed by their absence. It reminds them of everything they lack. You're not just succeeding. You're forcing them to question if they ever understood success at all. And that identity crisis, that's what truly devastates them. May comes and they're confiding in mutual connections now, desperately trying to comprehend how someone they overlooked could ascend so high, so quickly. But here's what they'll never understand. You didn't ascend quickly. You've been rising this entire time while they watched from their elevated positions, convinced you were frozen. They confused your silence for surrender, your separation for fragility, your concentration for loneliness. They didn't see you were training in the chamber of radical self-evolution, emerging with capabilities beyond their comprehension. You're not fortunate, you're ready. You're not random, you're calculated. You're not emerging, you're revealing. June arrives with rising temperatures and hotter tears from those finally admitting what they've known since winter. They sacrificed something irretrievable when they lost you. Not your company, but the possibility of you. They'll attempt return now with apologies masked as friendly check-ins. Been thinking about you lately. What's new with you? We should reconnect. And you'll decode it instantly because you're fluent in deception now. You learned their dialect while they assumed you weren't listening. You'll smile if you choose, respond when it suits you. But they'll immediately sense that the entrance isn't just locked. It's been permanently sealed. There's no returning because there's nothing worth returning to. July pushes them into complete collapse because your achievement isn't just visible now, it's irrefutable. They can't reconcile anymore the contradiction of considering you inferior while observing you exceed them. They'll construct narratives to shield their pride. They transformed. They compromised. They got breaks. Anything to dodge acknowledging the reality that you possess this power always, and they possess this blindness always. But in darkness, when they're isolated with truth, they'll understand. They'll recall every instance they could have championed you and selected ridicule. Every chance they had to elevate you and chose to diminish you. And that awareness will consume them. August comes and they're grieving openly now. Ambiguous posts about transformation, about duplicity, about never truly knowing people. The irony tastes sweet, doesn't it? Them performing victimhood when they cast you as antagonist in their narrative simply for daring to expand past their limitations. They'll receive sympathy from observers lacking context, brief comfort from crowds that'll forget by tomorrow. But you'll be creating something lasting, something substantial, something that doesn't require witnesses to prove its worth. Their tears are theater. Your evolution is foundation. September arrives and the crying shifts darker, laced with bitterness, because they're understanding this isn't temporary. This is permanent reality now, irreversible transformation. They'll watch you command spaces they claimed ownership of, connect with people they considered exclusively theirs, excel in territories they assumed you'd never access. And your every victory registers as personal assault to them because they constructed their identity on superiority over you. But dominance is illusion that shatters when the person below you rises to full stature. You're not below anyone now. You're not alongside them either. You exist in completely separate reality. October strikes, and they're mourning deeply now, grieving the version of you they could influence, manage, anticipate. They miss the you who required them, who craved their validation, who suppressed your brilliance so they could glow. That person is erased, removed, stored in files marked extinct. They'll share memories of old you to whoever listens. Remember when they used to be so, attempting to preserve a ghost with no interest in their past. Meanwhile, you're so committed to constructing your destiny that their history doesn't even flicker on your awareness. They're ambient noise in a life finally playing your anthem. November brings freezing weather and frozen understanding on their end that pleading won't work, shame won't work, sentimentality won't work. They've deployed every control technique available, and you've remained unmoved, a fortress that doesn't tremble for storms manufactured by mortals. They'll cry about how you're not who they remember, and they'll be completely correct. You're not. You're elevated, fortified, sharper, more synchronized with your essence than ever before. Who they knew was rough draft. What you are now is masterpiece, published and permanent, no longer accepting revisions from people who never valued the narrative you were creating. December arrives and they're closing the year precisely how they opened it, crying. But these tears carry different weight, heavier, because they contain recognition that 2027 won't differ. This isn't temporary hardship for them. This is permanent reality. You're not descending. You're not decelerating. You're not apologizing for your elevation. They'll observe you conclude 2026 with elegance, with force, with a presence that needs nobody's endorsement to exist. And as midnight approaches, as others make promises they'll break, you'll simply continue evolving into what you've been becoming constantly. Inevitable, irrefutable, unreachable. Now let's examine what 2026 actually represents, because this transcends external victory or generating regret. That's superficial, that's vanity, that's the opening act. The transformation is internal, the private revolution enabling the public metamorphosis. See, they're crying in 2026 because you stopped performing. You stopped justifying yourself, stopped defending your path, stopped participating in their construction of reality entirely. You didn't combat them. You didn't debate them. You didn't attempt proving them incorrect. You simply became breathing evidence that their perception of you was fantasy. Every tear in 2026 falls because of a reflection you created effortlessly. They'll observe you existing peacefully and recognize how much turmoil they inhabit. They'll see you moving purposefully and understand how aimlessly they're drifting. They'll witness you establishing boundaries and realize how violated they've allowed themselves to become. You're not confronting them. You're not considering them. But your existence as evolved being triggers every unresolved trauma they've been avoiding. You became living testament to what's achievable when someone prioritizes themselves completely. And that reality will haunt them. Let me reveal what truly breaks them. Not your success, though that stings. Not your joy, though that burns. Not even your serenity, though that torments them. What absolutely destroys them is your indifference. The reality that you're genuinely unbothered by their existence. Not pretending detachment, but authentically evolved so far beyond this that they barely register as faded memory. They're accustomed to people who depart but still care, who disconnect but still monitor their activity, who progress but still harbor resentment. You're different. You left and extracted your energy completely. They'll attempt everything for your reaction in 2026. Observe them. They'll publish content obviously targeting you, hoping you'll engage. They'll appear in locations they know you visit, hoping for confrontation. They'll relay messages through shared contacts, hoping for acknowledgement. But you've transcended the necessity to interact with people contributing nothing to your existence. You're not avoiding them from pettiness. You're avoiding them from focus. Your attention is valuable currency now, and they're financially ruined. Observing you invest energy elsewhere, in people deserving it, in ventures fulfilling you, in existence they're excluded from. That's what generates midnight tears. Here's what they don't grasp yet, but will learn agonizingly in 2026. You're not their opposition. You're not their champion either. You're not a role in their narrative whatsoever anymore. You're writing your own story, and they're not even referenced. They constructed identity partially through connection with you, whether as companion, adversary, partner, whatever. They define themselves relative to you, but you stopped defining yourself relative to anyone. You discovered your center, your foundation, your truth independent of external confirmation. And that self-sufficiency, that's genuine power generating their weeping. January through March becomes their denial stage. They'll convince themselves you'll return. You'll miss them. You'll recognize what you abandoned. They'll clutch hope like lifeline on drowning vessel, not comprehending that you're not in their ocean anymore. You're not suffocating in the chaos they inhabit. You're soaring above it in atmosphere they cannot reach. They'll search for evidence that you're struggling without them, that you need them, that you remember them. And each time they witness you flourishing, each time they see you victorious, each time they observe you radiant, another fragment of their denial fractures. By April, they'll be crying into darkness, questioning how you became so resilient. April through June delivers their rage stage, and oh, they'll be furious. How dare you progress so completely? How dare you thrive without them? How dare you smile while they suffer? They'll attempt painting you as villain, fabricate stories, distort truth, anything to ease their pain over losing you. Let them. Every criticism they voice just confirms you're occupying premium space in their thoughts, while they haven't crossed your mind in seasons. Their anger is just agony wearing disguise, and you're not accountable for their recovery. You completed that work internally. They can do theirs or drown in bitterness. Regardless, you're not pausing your journey to facilitate theirs. July through September brings their negotiation stage. Watch them attempt bargaining back into your world. They'll apologize, but only for infractions they suspect you discovered. They'll promise evolution, but only superficial behavioral adjustments, not authentic character transformation. They'll propose friendship, partnership, connection, anything to re-enter your sphere because proximity to you feels like touching electricity, and they're addicted to that sensation. But you'll perceive through everything because you've developed penetrating vision for manipulation. You'll recognize they don't want you. They want access to who you've become, and access to you is now earned, not granted. Most people won't qualify. They certainly won't. October through November delivers their despair stage, the profound crying, the authentic mourning. They'll finally accept you're gone, and they'll grieve not who you were, but who you could have been to them if they hadn't destroyed the bond. They'll imagine parallel universes where they supported instead of sabotaged, where they celebrated instead of competed, where they selected you instead of whatever fleeting option they prioritized. These visions will torture them at pre-dawn hours, converting their sanctuary into prison of could-haves and should-haves. Meanwhile, you'll be resting peacefully, dreaming of futures excluding them entirely. December brings their acceptance. Partially, they'll accept you're not returning, but they'll never accept reasoning. They'll never truly comprehend that you didn't leave because they wounded you. You left because you outgrew them. They'll never grasp it wasn't about retaliation or penalty. It was about alignment. You simply synchronized with higher frequency, and they couldn't match it. They'll tell themselves comfortable fictions about how you changed negatively when truth is you changed positively, and they couldn't handle the upgrade. By New Year's Eve 2026, they'll be crying again, identical to last year, because they're trapped in cycle of their own design while you're ascending exponentially. But let's go deeper. Let's discuss why 2026 specifically marks your liberation year. See, society celebrates redemption narratives, loves concepts of good triumphing over evil. But sometimes the most powerful transformation occurs when you stop trying to be the good person in everyone's story and start being the authentic person in your own. The liberation isn't about becoming malicious. It's about becoming freed from needing love from people unworthy of accessing you. It's about choosing yourself so completely that it appears selfish to people accustomed to you being selfless with them. Your liberation in 2026 means refusing without explanation, removing people without closure, prioritizing yourself without guilt, establishing boundaries without discussion, claiming territory without authorization. To people who benefited from your accommodation, your flexibility, your sacrifice, this version appears villainous. But to you, to anyone truly perceiving you, this is finally freedom. This is finally honoring yourself. This is finally understanding that you owe nobody access to your peace, your time, your energy, your existence. And that awakening makes you dangerous. Dangerous not harmfully, but uncontrollably. You're dangerous to their comfort, their assumptions, their expectations. You're dangerous to systems requiring your compliance, relationships depending on your silence, dynamics needing your submission. The instant you stop performing the role they assigned, the entire production collapses and they'll cry because they don't know how to adapt. They memorized lines based on who they assumed you were, but you rewrote yourself and didn't distribute the updated script. Now they're fumbling on stage, missing cues, while you've departed the theater entirely and started performing in completely different venue. Let me describe your liberation practically throughout 2026. It looks like abandoning conversations draining you without warning or apology. It looks like deleting contacts of people only calling when desperate. It looks like declining invitations to events you don't desire attending without fabricated reasons. It looks like pursuing opportunities terrifying you instead of comfortable options boring you. It looks like dressing your way, speaking your way, living your way without consulting popular opinion. It looks like being so authentically yourself that you polarize instantly. Some will despise you immediately, and some will adore you immediately, but nobody stays neutral about you. And that polarization, that generates the most tears. They're accustomed to you being agreeable, palatable, harmless. They could recommend you universally because you contorted yourself fitting any context, but 2026 you is unfiltered. Your pure essence, your concentrated truth. You're not for everyone anymore, and you're completely comfortable with that. Actually, you prefer it this way. You'd rather have 5 people genuinely resonating with your frequency than 500 only tolerating you when you're performing fiction. This selectivity, this discernment, this makes you powerful. This makes you untouchable. This makes them cry because they realize they don't make the cut anymore.